Hey guys, how you doing? Ray here again. If you'd like to subscribe, it's Nitro Kyosho. Well, I've gotten a lot of questions about this guy here. This is the Eflite Blade 130X. Now I put out some videos of me flying it, general flight. I put out some videos of acrobatic flight, and I put out a couple of videos of me testing out the tail. And I've gotten a lot of requests to find out what I did. Well, I didn't buy this helicopter, guys, for about till 6 months after it came out because of all the YouTube videos. Everybody's seen by now the tail shaking and all the problems. I had called Horizon Hobby before I bought this and talked to one of their salespeople there, engineers, whatever you want to call them. And the gentleman told me that the reason that it was shaken was because people were holding it at a certain RPM. He said if you spooled it right up and took off the ground, you wouldn't get the shake. So I did buy it, obviously I have it here, and I did do what the gentleman said, and it did work. But I did notice that at some points you'd still get a little bit of shake here and there. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So let me take this out. We'll talk about what we did to this guy and how we got it to the point that it's at now. We've got the helicopter here. Alright. Now, what I did to it was, like I said, I did what the gentleman said, and I would spool this thing up fast. You'd still get that shake in between the spool up at one certain point, and then it would take off and it would be fairly okay. But at some points of acrobatic, I noticed the tail would do the same thing. So I bought this kit here, guys. It was made by Micro Heli. You can get this kit, alright, at www.heli-direct, okay, .com. So that's heli-direct, and they're out of I think it's called Malden, Massachusetts. Okay, and the product is made by Micro Heli, and it's a tail kit. The model number, if you want to type this in at heli-direct to go right to this, is capital M, capital H, dash 130, capital X, dash, capital T, capital P, capital W, capital W. Okay, so that's MH-130X-TPWW. Those are all capitals. If you type that in at heli-direct, it'll bring you right to this product. So, we're going to show you what we did to it, but right now I'm going to just take the instructions out. It comes nicely packaged. This little plastic box with foam in it. Okay. The directions, guys, are just about as good as they get. Alright. I'll show you the directions here. It's fairly simple to put together, guys. The only thing that took me so long, and it'll probably be the same for you, and my buddy was the same deal, is that the parts are small and they're tiny and you're dropping them. And make sure that you do this over, take my advice, a bright white floor or inside of some kind of a container, like a giant Tupperware, a lid or something, where if you drop something you'll be able to find it, because I was on my hands and knees more than once. So let's see here. They give you two different sets here for the different parts. So you're going to get in the kit, you're going to get a double bearing titanium pitch slider. You're going to get the precision CNC aluminum tail gear case, which is the whole gear case back there. You're going to get a titanium pitch slider sleeve that's already inside the tail pitch slider there. You're going to get a double bearing aluminum tail pitch lever, and you're going to get a carbon fiber vertical fin. Alright, so you're going to get, and over here you're going to get the double bearing weighted tail blade grips. Okay, So you are getting in this kit, you're getting a tail pitch slider, is 1, you're getting the tail case, which is 2, the pitch lever, which is 3, the vertical fin, which is 4, and you are getting the blade grips, which is 5. So you're getting basically 5 items in this kit, guys. The directions are very, very straightforward of how to do everything. Just take your time, and you shouldn't have any problem. It tells you, now when you Loctite these guys, be very, very careful. I used a pointy toothpick for like checking cakes and muffins and stuff when you're taking them out of the oven. I used a sharp toothpick and just put a little dab of Loctite. These are little tiny screws, guys, so don't load them up with Loctite, and use a very light, medium strength, or you'll never get these things apart. So I'm going to lay these instructions out on the table here next to this helicopter, so we can, when I take the camera off of the pod, we can show you what everything looks like, the directions and everything. Even I'll put the box here for you. Now, it seems like, guys, whenever we buy a product from Horizon Hobby, we as far as their smaller helicopters, we always seem like we have to re-engineer them. I think Horizon Hobby, does a good job at really making these things and the capabilities of what they can do, and I take my hat off to them for that. But I think that every little helicopter, with the exception of probably the MCX and the MSR, I mean, this one here and the MCPX seem to have had a lot of issues online on YouTube with viewers that have seen all the issues. And I think that these aren't really 100% perfected, obviously, before they leave the factory. They really should be, they shouldn't have let these things out of the factory with that tail issue, guys, in my opinion. I mean, people are paying a lot of money for these things, and then you have to put a lot of money on top of them to get them to work 100% right. And like I said, it did work, decent out of the box. But you did get that shake on the spool up, which I didn't like, even if it was just for a small period of time. I made a video talking about it earlier, saying how the big ones do the same thing, but I just felt that over time it would probably damage something. Now, there's a lot of different guys out there saying what was the issue. Some said that the bearings were coming loose in the back of the tail box here on the tail rotor shaft. Mine didn't come loose. The gears weren't stripped. Nothing was, and it was still doing it. Another guy had convinced me to put an extra support here for the rudder rod, and that was a waste of money and time. Although I do like having an extra one there to keep the rod straight, but that was a really ridiculous thing too. That didn't do nothing. There was a lot of opinions on how to fix these things, guys. Another thing I think they screwed up on was the struts are way too short. These struts, guys, should have been back here. They should have been 3/4 of the way, like the big helicopters, back on the tail boom. They're up here in the middle, which leaves a lot of tail twist back here. That's something I think I'm going to engineer myself, and put a longer set of struts. I think would help too. But like I said, it's kind of sad that we have to take these things and re-engineer them after you pay all that money. That's why I don't buy the big helicopters by them. I buy strictly Align helicopters, and if the day ever comes that Align makes something like this, then that'll be it for me with Eflite too. I won't be buying anything from them. I don't buy their big helicopters because I had a Blade 400 years ago, and just about everything on it went. It didn't hold up. The motor went. The speed controller went 2-3 times. The plastic geared servos would strip out if you just flicked them. And I have no interest in having big Eflite helicopters. I think a line are 100 times stronger, better, tougher. So as far as that. But let me take this off of the pod here, guys. But before I do, I want to make one thing clear. It does remove all of the vibration on the spool up and in general flight. I saw none. I mean 0 vibration. On spool up it is dead solid straight. You'll get no more of that. However, when I was flying this thing, there still is issues. When I was flying this thing in 3D and I would do some inverted pirouettes and stuff, I noticed that the tail would shake violently back and forth after you'd come out of some of these maneuvers. And it was not a vibration issue, guys. I'm 100% sure that it is and I kept saying in the video, I apologize, 3GX system. It's not a 3GX system. It's called the AS3X, the artificial stabilization system. I believe that thing at some point gets confused, and that's why you get that violent shake coming out of, if you do some, of these and different maneuvers, you'll get that. I saw my friend getting it out of his during hurricanes. I think the system isn't that advanced like the MCPX system wasn't, and I think that it just loses itself at certain points, and that's what caused that, because it's definitely not a tail vibration, that issue. So you're still going to probably come upon that problem, guys. And that's not during general flight, but that was during some extreme, not extreme, but any kind of 3D. If you do a tick-tock and then an inverted, and you do a couple of things in a row, it seems to get confused. So keep that in mind. You're probably going to still encounter that issue. It's not coming from the tail, because the tail is rock solid now. It's definitely, that's a computer issue on it. You can tell the difference between a vibration and a shake and something like that, because that was like wah wah wah, and you could hear like a weird sound. So let's get the camera off of the pod, guys. I'll show you the instructions, and I'll show you what we did here. Alright, let me just turn this around. Now I'll show you the instructions first. Alright, this is the double bearing titanium pitch slider. That's part 1 here. Very, very clear directions on Loctiting, how everything goes together. There's the fin assembly back there. This is for the double bearing, the weighted tail blade grips. But as you can see from these instructions, guys, I'm showing you, very, very clear instructions on how everything goes together. Just take your time and read through the instructions here before you get started. If you have any issues, send me a line. Okay, one more quick look. But pretty good directions from Micro Heli. Comes in this box here, and it all came packaged in that foam container. Now let's take a look at and see what we did here. Okay, you've got your tail, the box here. They give you a carbon fiber fin. They give you a new tail rotor back here. They give you that. The gears, you have to use your own. Here's the weighted. We can get down here. Let's see. Okay, there's the weighted, the tail blade grips. Okay, this is your pitch lever back here. Okay, and you've got your pitch slider down in there. You have to use your old plastic little links here. Okay, And it spins very smooth, very smooth, very free. Alright, now guys, I recommend, let me move this up on my table here, hopefully nobody gets dizzy. I have this here, this is Labelle 101 oil. It's a synthetic light, actually this is a medium strength, I apologize, oil. I use these on all the T-Rexes. And I already have a video out, so if you guys want to check it out about oiling these guys, so I'm not going to do a full video on where to oil and how to oil, but check my video out on that. But in my opinion, guys, after every flight or two, probably every 2 flights, I mean I have 2 batteries at this point, so I do it after every 2 flights. But I don't think you have to. You could do it 3, maybe 4 flights. But these things are very small little bearings back here. I lubricate everything after every 2 flights. Why change the bearings, guys, if you don't have to? They're taking a lot of abuse back here. Get yourself a little oil like that. Oil up those bearings. Watch my video on how to oil the 130X, and you'll, not have to be replacing any of this. Why replace it when you don't have to? Keep it lubed up, alright, and you'll keep it flying beautiful. So that's my video on the 130X. Like I said, go to Heli. If you're interested in this kit, go to heli-direct. Type in that number. I'll give it to you one more time. Alright, the website is www.heli-direct. You can Google it or just type that in. I believe it's heli-direct.com. This is the number here. I'll show you on camera. Model capital M, capital H, dash 130X, dash capital T, capital P, capital WW. Alright, you type that in at heli-direct in the search bar and it will bring you to this. You can get it in silver like I have, or you can get it in an anodized red. I just think that the silver goes better with the black. It looks a little bit classier than the red, but that's totally your opinion and what you want to do. Some guys might want to put the red canopy and match it with the red anodized, but that's all I got to say on this guy here. Hopefully the next time Horizon puts one of these out, they wait a little bit longer and they do a little bit more testing and they make sure that they got it 100% right before they send it out of the factory, because the MCPX and this one both have had issues, and we shouldn't have to be spending an extra $80 to get this thing to work right. Some guys have asked me, they said, well, Ray, it's $280 or $285 plus this, you're up over $300. At that point, you can buy a T-Rex Pro 250. But the thing that is true for the most part, but the difference, guys, is this thing is small. For me, what I want to do with it is play around in my backyard. I have big aligned T-Rexes to take to the field. This is a very good practice tool. It's worth the money because you can practice everything without having the stresses of crashing. It's feather light, so you're not going to do the damage you do on a T-Rex Pro 250. There you're talking about blades breaking and main shafts bending and tails bending and booms bending. With this guy here, it's light as a feather. Kill your throttle cut before it hits the ground. You're not going to have any damage. So definitely as a practice tool, I recommend this 100%. I'm going to do all my practicing on it now. So in that sense, it isn't a bad buy. So thanks for watching, guys. If you'd like to subscribe, it's Nitro Kyo Show.